Now more than ever, keeping up with the world means keeping up with computer technology and software. The PC Video Collection is proud to present this video tutorial.
Hello and welcome to this video tutorial, Learning Excel Introduction. I'm Kurt Gwartney, along with Leslie Thomas.
In today's competitive market, the versatility of Excel can help you produce your information in a clear and concise manner.
This video will teach you the basics of this powerful new spreadsheet quickly and easily. You will understand its windows and commands in no time. In this video, we'll discuss the program icons in the Microsoft Office group window. Then we'll explain the components of the Excel screen.
We'll open a workbook from the Learning Disk. Then we'll fill and edit a cell.
We'll copy, format, then move a cell and demonstrate the undo command. We'll explain cell clearing and create a formula.
Then we'll show AutoSum and demonstrate column and row widths. We'll use Function Wizard to find an average and create a workbook. Then we'll use Autofill to enter information.
We'll format information in cells and insert two rows using the shortcut menu. And we'll rename a sheet tab.
We'll create a chart with the Chart Wizard and explain the floating toolbar. We'll manipulate the chart and add a trend line and error bars.
We'll insert a worksheet from another workbook into our current workbook, then change the order of the worksheets.
We'll hide, then unhide a row, column, worksheet, and workbook. Then we'll explain printer setup and print preview. Finally, we'll demonstrate text notes and file find.
We assume that you are familiar with the fundamentals of Windows. If you would like to review, refer to the tutorials on Windows.
Since Excel 5.0 runs in the Windows environment, the commands given in this video tutorial use the mouse unless otherwise specified.
Because of space considerations and in the interest of time, the files on the Learning Disk need to be placed onto the hard drive.
If you would like to try the following exercises with us, please copy the files now using these commands.
First, let's place the Learning Disk in the proper drive. Ours is A. Next, at the hard drive prompt, ours is C, we'll enter xcopy space A : *** space C : \excel \learn and press enter. At the file or directory prompt, we'll press D for directory. The Learn directory is then created and the files are copied into it. When you are finished with this tutorial, simply delete the files in the Learn directory.
We've made a complete installation of Excel 5.0. This includes Excel, online help and lessons, data access, graphics filters, add-ins, and tools.
Let's begin at the Windows Program Manager. At the Microsoft Office group window, several program icons are displayed. We'll use the Microsoft Excel icon in a moment. The next one, Microsoft Query, will retrieve and organize your data from a variety of applications, then bring the information into Excel. The MS Excel README program contains last-minute information about Excel, along with network installation, documentation upgrades, compatibility with Excel 4, and Microsoft Query details. We use the MS Excel setup to add or remove components from our current installation. If you have previously installed other Microsoft applications such as Microsoft Word, then the program icons can also be placed into the Microsoft Office group window. We'll double-click the Microsoft Excel program icon and the Excel screen is now shown. Let's take a moment to discuss it. Book 1 is displayed on the title bar, and each worksheet in the workbook is signified by sheet tabs located at the bottom of the window. The active sheet is indicated by bold text. By default, 16 new worksheets are automatically created in a new workbook, and we can change this to create up to 255 worksheets. the maximum number of sheets we can insert and use is only limited by our system's available memory. The toolbar is located between the menu bar and the formula bar. Let's move the mouse pointer to the third button from the left. A tooltip appears describing the command the button performs. Also, a more detailed description of the button is shown on the status bar at the bottom of the window. In the lower left-hand corner of the window, and just above the status bar, 4 tab scrolling buttons are shown. From left to right, the first one scrolls to the first tab in the workbook. The second button scrolls to the previous tab. And the third one scrolls to the next tab. The fourth button scrolls to the last tab in the workbook. Let's move to the toolbar. In the upper right-hand corner, a light bulb button is shown, and it's lit at this time. Let's select it, and the tip wizard is now displayed at the top of the workbook window. We'll remove Tip Wizard by choosing the Tip Wizard button, and the light bulb is now dimmed. You may pause the tape now to practice on your computer.
When there is a faster or more efficient way to accomplish a command or an action, the Tip Wizard light bulb will be lit. Simply choose the button to display or remove the tip. The tip will be different every time you start Excel.
Let's open a workbook in the Learn directory. First, let's close the Book 1 workbook by double-clicking its Control button. Then we'll select the Open button. It's the second one from the left, and we'll change to the C:\Excel\Learn directory. We'll double-click via1.xlw, and the first worksheet, Eastern Sales, is now displayed. We'll display the rest of the sheet tabs by placing the pointer on the tab split box. When the cursor changes to a double-headed arrow, we drag the mouse to the right, then release. The font and font size are now displayed in the Format bar, and the name box is just below it. At this time, it has A6 in it. The worksheet area of the screen is divided into rows, columns, and cells. Columns are letters and go up and down. Rows are numbers that are across. And the small boxes between the grid lines are called cells. Each worksheet has a maximum of 256 columns and 16,384 rows. We have moved the active cell, it's the rectangular outline, by pointing and clicking. The cell reference in the name box now reflects the change. We can also use the cursor arrow keys to highlight a cell, making it active. All information must be entered in the active cell. Let's enter some data. With the active cell at A6, we'll enter J.Jones. The formula bar is now active. To cancel the cell information, we can choose the red X or press the Delete key. To confirm the information, we select the green check mark, press Enter, or simply move the active cell. The FX button is used to open Function Wizard. We'll use it a little later. We'll confirm the information in our cell by pressing the right arrow key and moving the active cell to B6. The next 3 entries will be numbers. We'll use the numeric keypad on our keyboard. We press the numlock key on the keyboard, and now num, N-U-M, is displayed on the status bar. We'll enter 120,500. We press the right arrow key, then enter 110,250. We press the right arrow key again, then enter 100,750 and press enter. Now we point and click on cell A7. Here we enter M period forward, F-O-R-R-E-R-T. We'll enter two more numbers. We enter 90,125, press the right arrow key, and enter 87,900 and press enter. For now, let's not enter the figures for 1992. Forward has been misspelled. To edit, we don't have to retype the entire cell. We'll place the cursor on the cell and double-click. We'll use the arrow keys to position the insertion point to the right of the last R. We press the backspace key, enter S, and then press the enter key. You may pause the tape now to practice on your computer. Use this technique for figures and formulas also. Let's copy, format, and move a cell in the worksheet. Let's place the 1991 figures for M. Forrest in 1992. We'll place the active cell at C7. In the lower right-hand corner of the active cell, a small black box is shown. It's called a fill handle. Let's place the cursor on the fill handle. When it changes into a black cross, we'll drag the mouse and the outline to cell D7. We release the mouse, then point and click in a blank area to remove the highlight. We want the figures to reflect currency, so we format the cell. We make sure the active cell is D7. Then we select the Currency Style button. It has a $sign on it. To format all the cells at once, let's create a range. We'll place the active cell at B6. Then we'll drag the mouse to D7. It won't hurt D7 to be formatted again. We release the mouse, then we select the Currency Style button again. Now all the cells display currency figures. Let's move a cell. We'll place the active cell on D7. Then we'll position the cursor next to the active cell border. When the cross turns into an arrow, we'll drag the mouse and the outline to D10, then release the mouse. If you perform an action or command you don't like, Excel can remove it with the undo command. Let's take a look. Now we choose Edit from the menu bar. The command we're going to use is the first one, undo drag and drop. We see the shortcut key displayed to the right of it. For this command, it's Control plus Z. We'll go ahead and perform this function. We'll press Escape twice to close the menu. Then we'll press and hold Control and press Z. The cell is returned to its original position. You may pause the tape now to practice on your computer.
Some actions or commands can't be undone, and the undo command will be dimmed. Keep in mind that you can only undo your last action or command.
The fill handle is ideal if you want to create a copy in an adjacent cell. However, if you want to move a copy to a non-adjacent row or column, you can use the Control key. With the active cell on D7, we'll again position the cursor next to the active cell border. When the cross turns into an arrow, we'll press and hold the Control key. A plus sign is now shown just to the right of the arrow, signifying a copy. Still pressing the Control key, we'll drag the mouse and the outline to D10. We release the mouse, then the Control key. To undo, we press Control plus Z.
You can use these same techniques to move or copy a range also. Let's remove the cell contents.
We'll enter new figures. With the active cell at D7, let's press the Delete key, then enter 101,500 and press Enter. The new figures are shown as currency, since pressing Delete only removes the contents, not the format. Let's remove the contents along with the format. With the active cell on D7, we'll choose Edit, then the Clear command. From the pop-up menu, 4 options are available, including Notes. If you want to place a comment about a worksheet that won't be displayed, you can write a text note. Also, you can attach sound notes to a cell by recording a message or importing a pre-recorded sound.
For sound notes to operate, the proper hardware and software must be installed on your computer system. We'll create a text note later.
Let's choose All, and the cell contents are removed. Again, we'll enter 101,500 and press Enter. And the figures no longer reflect currency. Help is always available by choosing Help from the menu bar or pressing the F1 key. However, you can see a specific help window by using the Help button. We'll select the Help button. It's in the upper right-hand corner of the window and has an arrow and a question mark on it. We'll select it and a question mark is now displayed with the cursor. We place the mouse pointer on a sheet tab, click, and the parts of the Microsoft Excel screen list is now shown. We'll double-click its Control button to close it. You may pause the tape now to practice on your computer. Let's review what we've covered in this chapter. We discussed the program icons in the Microsoft Office group window and explained components of the Excel window, including Tool Tips and Tip Wizard.
We opened a workbook in the Learn directory, and we entered information in some cells. We discussed the fill handle, then we edited a cell.
We copied and formatted a cell, then moved it. We used the shortcut key for the undo command.
We demonstrated how to clear cell contents as well as formatting information. And we used the Help button from the toolbar.
When we want to enter calculated values on a worksheet, we use a formula and the formula bar. Here's a list of the math operators recognized by Excel. Plus for addition, minus for subtraction or negation if placed before a value, the slash for division, the asterisk or star for multiplication, the percent sign for percent, and the rooftop or caret symbol for exponentiation. Let's add our figures, and we'll use a formula to do this. First, let's format D7 to show a currency figure. Then we'll place the active cell on B8. We'll point and click on the formula bar now. A Microsoft Excel formula always begins with an equal sign, so let's type equal. Now we'll select B4, type the plus sign, choose B5, type the plus sign again, select B6, a plus sign, then B7. The formula is finished. Let's select the green check mark, and the answer is shown. The currency format is automatically displayed. When a created formula refers to other cells, the answer cell will have the same number format as the first cell it refers to. The maximum length of a formula can be up to 1,024 characters. We'll add the 1991 column in another way. Let's place the active cell at C8. Then we'll select the AutoSum button. It has a sigma on it. The sum function is automatically displayed in the formula bar along with the active cell. Let's choose the AutoSum button again. And now the sum is displayed. We'll use the fill handle to add the third column. With the active cell on C8, let's place the cursor on the fill handle. When the cursor changes into a black cross, we'll drag the mouse and the outline to D8. And now the sum is displayed. To remove the figures, let's highlight B8 through D8. Then we'll press the delete key. You may pause the tape now to practice on your computer.
You can use the AutoSum button to add subtotal rows and grand total rows and columns. Let's try it.
We'll highlight cells B4 through E8. Now, we'll double-click the AutoSum button and row along with the column totals are now displayed. The numbers in the E column are shown as the pound sign. A column can be widened or reduced by placing the mouse pointer on the line dividing the two columns. When the pointer changes into a double-headed arrow, we drag the mouse. We can automatically widen a column to its longest entry. Let's place the cursor on the line in the column heading between E and F. When the pointer changes into a double-headed arrow, we double-click. Let's use Function Wizard to find the average of the row totals. We place the active cell at E12, then select the Function Wizard button. And now the Function Wizard window is shown. A thumbnail description of the highlighted function is displayed at the bottom of this window. Let's highlight Average and choose Next. If necessary, we'll move Function Wizard in order to view the E column. We place the cursor at E4 and drag the mouse to E7. We release the mouse, and the cells surrounded by a moving outline are shown in the number 1 line. Let's choose the Finish button. Now the average number is shown. We'll type average sales in cell D12. Now let's save the changes in the workbook, then close it. We'll choose the Save button. It's the third one from the left. Then we select File and the Close command. You may pause the tape now to practice on your computer. Keep in mind, you can use the same double-clicking method to adjust the row height too.
Let's review what we've covered in this chapter. We listed the math operators recognized by Excel. Then we created a formula and added a column of figures.
We used the AutoSum button to add the second column, and we dragged the active cell's fill handle to total the third column.
We used AutoSum to add subtotal rows and grand total columns, and used the Function Wizard to find the sales average.
Finally, we demonstrated two methods of adjusting a column width. Saved the changes in the VHS workbook, then closed it.
create a workbook. We'll choose the New Workbook button. It's the first one from the left on the toolbar.
Earlier, we used the fill handle to add figures in a column. Next, we'll look at autofill. It's a series of incremental or fixed values that can be created with the fill handle. We'll place the active cell at B1. Then we'll enter JAN period for January. Now we position the pointer on the fill handle, then drag the mouse to cell E1. We release the mouse and remove the highlight. Now the first 4 months of the year are displayed.
You can enter the days of the week by using this method also.
Let's enter the names of some salespeople. We'll place the active cell at A2, then type A period Mercer. We press the down arrow key, enter G period Waller. We press the down arrow again, and this time enter S period Cartel. We'll move the active cell to B2 and enter some numbers now. At B2, we enter 2,575.50. We press the right arrow and enter 2,725.75. We press the right arrow again, and this time enter 1,995.25. We press the right arrow and enter 2,145.60. We'll point and click on B3. Here we enter 2,150.85. In the next cell over, we press the right arrow and enter 2,325.95. We press the right arrow key again and enter 2,002.15. We press the right arrow again and enter 2,895.35. Now we click on B4. We enter 1,950.65. We press the right arrow key and enter 2,265.50. Another right arrow, 1,705.75. We press the right arrow and finally enter 2,213.95. To add these numbers, let's highlight B2 through E5. Then we'll select the Auto Sum button. With the selection area still displayed, let's choose the Currency Style button. We'll widen the columns by double-clicking on each line in the column headings, and we'll remove the highlight. Let's change the font and the size of the names. We'll highlight A2 through A4. Then we'll display the font list by clicking the down arrow to its right. We'll select Times New Roman. To change the font size, we display the list by clicking the down arrow. Here we'll choose 16. To customize the text further, we'll select the Bold button. It has a capital B on it. Then the Italic button. It's a slanted capital I. To see all of the text, we place the pointer on the column heading line between A and B and double-click. You may pause the tape now. Changing the justification of numbers or text can enhance your spreadsheet. Let's see how to do this. Let's highlight B1 through E1. Then we'll select the Center button.
If you need an extra row or column, Excel makes it easy to insert them using the shortcut menu.
We'll create room for a title. Let's select the number 1 row heading. With the pointer still on the row heading, we click the right-hand mouse button and choose the Insert command. To insert another row, we'll repeat the command. The commands in a shortcut menu will depend on the location of your cursor. For example, the Sheet tab has its own shortcut menu. Let's add the title. We place the active cell at C1 and enter Southern Region. We then press Enter. Text will spill to the adjacent cell, but this won't affect any numbers or text that may be located there. Let's change the font size of the title. We place the active cell on C1. Then we display the font size list and choose 20. We'll also select the bold and italic buttons on the toolbar. Coloring text or numbers is also fast and easy. We'll change the color of the title. Let's select the down arrow that's next to the font color button. It's directly below the tip wizard button and has a T on it. Now a palette appears. Let's tear off the palette by placing the cursor anywhere on the palette border and dragging the mouse and the outline toward the center of the window. When properly positioned, we release the mouse. We'll choose the dark green swatch. Now the text color is changed. Let's restore the palette to its original location by clicking its control button. Finally, let's change the name of the Sheet tab. As we mentioned earlier, the shortcut menu can be used, or we can place the cursor on the Sheet tab, double-click, and now the Rename Sheet box is shown. A new name for any Sheet tab can have up to 31 characters, including spaces.
You can't enclose the name in square brackets, and the characters colon, slash, backslash, question mark, and asterisk are not permitted.
We'll type Southern Region, press Enter, and now the Sheet tab is renamed. Let's save the workbook. We'll select the Save button. Remember, it's the third from the left. At the Save As box, we type SAMP1, S-A-M-P-1 in the file name line. We press Enter, and the Summary Info dialog box is shown. You can type a maximum of 255 characters in each of the title, subject, author, keywords, and comments boxes. For the title, we'll enter Regional Sales Figures. We press Tab to move to the subject line and type For Report. The author's name is already filled in. This is the name we entered in the name line when we installed Excel 5. It can be changed. We press Tab and enter Video Tutorial and press Tab again. The Keywords line is used to find a specific workbook, and we'll demonstrate it later. Let's type a salesperson's name, Mercer. We put it in this line and then press Tab to move to Comments. We'll enter, these figures were updated by Dave Johnson in 493. The text wraps automatically. Let's choose OK, and the workbook is saved. You may pause the tape now. Let's review what we've covered in this chapter. We created a workbook. We used autofill, then entered some text and numbers.
We automatically widened columns to reflect the longest entries, and we changed the text font and the font size.
We inserted 2 rows using the shortcut menu. We used the tear-off palette from the font color button to change a text color.
We listed the characters that can't be used when a Sheet tab is renamed. Finally, we renamed the Sheet tab, saved the workbook, and completed the Summary Info dialog box.
We'll create a chart from a portion of our data. We will highlight A3 through E6. Then we'll choose the Chart Wizard button. The highlighted range is now surrounded by a moving dotted outline, and the cursor now has a miniature Chart Wizard symbol next to it. We'll position the cursor at F1 and drag the mouse to the lower right-hand corner of H15. We release the mouse and the first of 5 steps of the Chart Wizard are displayed. If necessary, we'll move Chart Wizard out of the way. We confirm that the range we want is shown in the range line. We select the next button, and 15 chart types are shown. Each one also has its own format. We'll choose 3D column, then Next again. At step 3, we'll accept the defaulted format and choose Next. A preview of our chart is now displayed to the left. We'll select Next, place the insertion point in the chart title line, and enter Southern Region Sales. The title is automatically added to the preview. We choose the Finish button, the chart is created, and the chart toolbar is automatically displayed. We'll anchor the chart toolbar to the main toolbar. We place the pointer on the chart title bar, then drag upward. When the outline is on the font box, we release the mouse. To adjust the buttons, we'll place the pointer on a blank area anywhere near a chart button, drag the mouse and the outline to a blank area, and release the mouse. To return any anchored toolbar to its floating position, we simply place the pointer in a blank area near any of the buttons and drag the mouse and the dotted outline to the center of the window. When the chart was created, small boxes called handles were automatically placed around the border of the chart. If handles are displayed around any object, this means that its border is selected and can be manipulated. With the handles displayed, let's enlarge the chart. We'll place the pointer on the right center handle. When the cursor changes to a double-headed arrow, we'll drag the mouse about 2 columns to the right, then release. Let's change the font size of the chart title text. First, we'll place the pointer in a blank area and double-click. A gray border around the chart means that the chart area is selected, not just the border. Now, we can use various shortcut menus, such as the Legend shortcut menu. We'll press Escape twice to remove the shortcut menu and the Legend handles. We'll place the pointer on any part of the title text and click. We'll display the available font sizes. We highlight 16, and the size is changed. As long as the handles are displayed, the title can be repositioned. We'll place the pointer on the lower left-hand box and drag the dotted outline to the left. When properly positioned, we release the mouse. We'll increase the font size of the Axis text. We'll place the pointer on one of the months, click, and then select 10 from the font list. Now we'll point and double-click in a blank area in order to deselect the chart. You may pause the tape now.
With Excel 5.0, you can add a line to your chart that will show the direction or trend of your data.
It's called a trend line. It is commonly used to study problems of prediction.
You cannot add trend lines to 3D, pie, donut, and radar charts.
Because our chart is a 3D column type, we'll use the Chart toolbar to change it before we add a trend line. We'll select the chart in order to display the toolbar. We'll select the down arrow next to the Chart Type button. The chart type is also a tear-off palette. We place the pointer on the border, drag the mouse and the outline to the center of the window, then release. Now, a tooltip is shown when the pointer is positioned over a button. We'll select the column type, and the chart type is changed. We will reattach the chart's toolbar by clicking its control button. We'll also enlarge the chart for better viewing. We'll plot a trend line for A. Mercer. With the chart area selected, we'll choose one of A. Mercer's bars. Any one of them will work. With a handle displayed in each of the bars representing A. Mercer's data, we choose Insert from the menu bar, then the Trend Line command, and the Trend Line tab dialog box is shown. With the Type tab active, the 6 different trend lines available are displayed, with linear being the default. Here is a brief description of the common uses for each type of trend line. Linear is used for revenue data. Logarithmic can be used for population estimates. Polynomial is often used for mileage. Power is used for acceleration. Exponential is for half-life data, with no negative values allowed. Linear is what we want, so we'll move to Options by selecting its tab. Linear A. Mercer will be the default name in the legend. We'll accept the defaults, we choose OK, and now the trend line is displayed. If your information has a plus or minus range, a degree of uncertainty, you can add error bars to your data series.
You can't add error bars to 3D, pie, donut, or radar chart types.
With the chart still selected, we'll select one of S. Cartel's bars. Now we choose Insert, then the Error Bars command. We'll select the radio button in front of percentage, then we'll change the value to 10. We choose OK, and the error bars are displayed.
After error bars are added, they will automatically be recalculated and adjusted if the data series is changed.
Keep in mind, if you should add error bars to a series, then change the type of chart to one that can't use them. The error bars will be deleted. Let's deselect the chart and save the workbook. You may pause the tape now. Let's review what we've covered in this chapter. We created a 3D column chart using a portion of the worksheet data and the chart wizard.
We anchored the floating chart toolbar to the main toolbar, then adjusted the position of its buttons. We returned it to a floating location.
We changed the look of the chart, then we listed the chart types we cannot add trend lines or error bars to. We changed our chart type and added trend lines and error bars to it.
Finally, we listed the common uses for the 6 types of trend lines.
When you're working with several workbooks, Excel makes it easy to move or copy worksheets from one workbook to another.
First, we'll press Ctrl plus Home to move the active cell to A1. Next, let's open the source workbook via 1. We'll select the Open button and double-click via1.xlw. Now let's place them side by side. We'll choose Window from the menu bar, then the Arrange command. Tiled is the default, and that's what we want, so let's select OK. Let's display the Western Sales worksheet in the VHS workbook. We'll place the cursor on any of the tab scrolling buttons and display the shortcut menu by pressing the right-hand mouse button. Let's select Western Sales, and this worksheet is now active. To insert this worksheet into our Samuel-Wan workbook, we'll choose Edit, then the Move or Copy Sheet command. At the Move or Copy dialog box, let's change to the To Book line to samp1.xls. We want the inserted sheet to be placed after the Southern Region worksheet, so let's highlight Sheet 2. Because we want to move a copy of the sheet, not the original, we'll select the box in front of the Create a Copy option. Let's choose OK, and a copy of the Western Sales worksheet is now in the Samuel-Wan workbook. Let's minimize VHS, and its icon is displayed in the lower left-hand corner. We'll maximize Samuel-Wan and choose the first tab scrolling button on the left. With the Southern Region tab now displayed, let's activate the sheet by choosing it. We can easily change the order of the worksheets. Let's take a look. Let's move the Southern Region worksheet after Western Sales. We'll place the cursor on the Southern Region tab, then let's drag the mouse to the right. When the cursor and the worksheet symbol is on top of Sheet 2, we release the mouse. Let's save our changes.
You may pause the tape now.
Let's review what we've covered in this chapter. We opened the VHS workbook and copied one of its worksheets into our Samuel-Wan workbook.
We changed the order of the worksheets by moving one of the tabs, and we saved the changes.
When we highlighted a group of cells to create a chart, we created a range. We can name ranges and use these special names almost anywhere you might use a regular reference.
This includes formulas and dialog boxes. The name box is used to define, as well as select a range. Let's create, then name a range.
With the Southern Region worksheet displayed, let's highlight A1 through E7. At this time, only the position of the active cell is shown in the name box. With our range still highlighted, we'll place the insertion point in the box and type South and press Enter.
The first character in the name box must be a letter or an underscore character. Then, other characters can be letters, periods, and underscore.
Spaces aren't permitted, and a name can be up to 255 characters long.
You can use upper or lowercase letters in the name because Excel cannot distinguish between the two.
Let's remove the highlight, and South is no longer visible in the name box. You can move to a named range from anywhere in your workbook. Let's move to the Western Sales worksheet and display the name box list by choosing its down arrow. We'll choose South, and we'll return to the Southern Region. Again, let's move the active cell to deselect and save the changes. Earlier, we changed the font size, and color of text in a worksheet. Excel's auto format automatically applies a built-in combination of formats to a range of cells.
Let's use auto format on the South range.
First, we'll select the South range by using the name box. Next, let's choose Format from the menu bar, then the Auto Format command. 16 different formats are available, and the sample window displays the highlighted selection. Let's select 3D Effects 1, choose OK, and remove the highlight. To assign the same format to several worksheets, we need to group them first. Let's try it in the VO1 workbook. We'll maximize VO1 by choosing Window, then select VO1. Let's display all 3 tabs by choosing the first tab scrolling button. Now we'll activate the Eastern Sales worksheet, press and hold the Shift key, select Western Sales to choose the rest of the tabs, then release the Shift key.
If you don't want to select all of the worksheet tabs, press and hold the Control key as you click the desired tabs.
Let's highlight our range by placing the cursor at A1 and dragging the mouse to D7. We'll select Format, then the Auto Format command. Let's highlight Colorful 2, choose OK, and remove the highlight. We'll look at the Central Sales, then the Western Sales worksheets, and the same format is displayed. Also, choosing another tab automatically ungroups the worksheets. We'll return to the Eastern Sales worksheet and save the changes.
We didn't include the grand totals and subtotals in the highlight. The other worksheets didn't have these figures, and the format would not have been uniform.
If you want to use a group auto format, try to make all of your worksheets as similar as possible.
Let's review what we've covered in this chapter. We created and named a range. We moved to another worksheet, then used the name box to return to the named range.
We used auto format to format a range. Next, we grouped several worksheets, applied auto format to all of them at once, and saved the changes.
When you don't want every person using your system to view specific information, you can hide a row, column, worksheet, or even an entire workbook. Let's hide, then unhide a row and column.
With the Eastern Sales worksheet displayed, let's select the 8th row heading, and we'll display the shortcut menu. Let's select Hide, and the row is no longer visible. We'll use an alternate method to hide the E column. Let's place the cursor on the line between E and F. When the cursor changes into a double-headed arrow, we'll drag the mouse and the line to the beginning of the D column heading. We release the mouse and the column is gone. Let's restore the row. We'll select the row 7 heading, then let's press and hold the Shift key and choose the row 9 heading. Then we release the Shift key. With both rows highlighted, let's place the cursor on 9, display the shortcut menu, and choose the Unhide command. We'll remove the highlight and the row has been restored. Let's use an alternate method to restore the column. The line between D and F is darker than the others. Let's place the cursor just to the right of this line. When the cursor changes to a double-headed and double-lined arrow, we'll drag the mouse to the right, and the column is restored.
Both methods we demonstrated can be used for either rows or columns.
Hiding worksheets within a workbook lowers the number of windows on your screen and can prevent unauthorized changes.
Remember, sheets containing macros or critical information can be open and available to other sheets, but aren't available for editing.
Also, you must have more than one worksheet in a workbook in order to hide one. Let's hide a worksheet. We'll hide the Central Sales worksheet. Let's activate it, then we'll select Format from the menu bar, then the Sheet command. From the flyout menu, let's choose Hide, and the sheet is removed. We'll hide another sheet. With the Western Sales worksheet active, let's choose Format, Sheet, then Hide. At this time, only the Eastern Sales worksheet is available. Let's unhide the Western Sales sheet. We'll choose Format, Sheet, then the Unhide option. In the Unhide dialog box, let's highlight Western Sales and choose OK. Because you can only unhide one sheet at a time, again, we'll select Format, Sheet, Unhide, then OK. Let's hide the VHS workbook. We'll choose Window, then the Hide command, and the workbook is gone. To restore it, let's choose Window, the Unhide command, then OK.
Let's review what we've covered in this chapter. We used the shortcut menu to hide a row, then demonstrated an alternate method of hiding by dragging the mouse.
We restored the row and the column. Then we hid and restored two worksheets.
Finally, we hid and restored the VHS workbook.
Excel uses the default printer settings from Windows. If we want to install another, we do so in the Print Manager of the Windows main program. Let's take a look at the Print command. If you want to print the active worksheet, simply choose the Print button. It's the fourth one from the left. However, if you want to print a highlighted range, selected sheet or sheets, or an entire workbook, you need to use the Print dialog box. Let's choose File from the menu bar, then the Print command. We select what we want to print in the Print What section and designate how many copies we want. We choose our page range here as well. Let's select the Page Setup button. To specify orientation or scaling, we use the Page tab. If we want to change the margin settings, headers and footers, or page order, we choose the proper tab. We use the Options button to change the default resolution, paper size, paper source, and orientation. We'll select Cancel twice to return to the Print dialog box. If you have more than one printer already installed, Excel allows you to choose between them. We'll select the Printer Setup button, and all of the installed printers for your system are displayed. To select your installed font cartridges, choose the Setup button. Let's choose Cancel to return to the Print dialog box. To see our worksheet as it will be printed, we'll select the Print Preview button. The default margins can be shown by selecting the Margins button. When the cursor is in the page area, it automatically changes to a magnifying glass. For a closer view of the worksheet, let's position the symbol on the second column and click. We'll restore the preview to the original size by selecting the Zoom button. Let's choose Close, and we're returned to the worksheet.
Keep in mind that the formats you apply to cells may cause a heavy shading with black and white printers. You may want to print a single sheet before printing an entire workbook.
Let's review what we've covered in this chapter. We discussed the default printer settings, then explained parts of the print box.
This included the Page Setup tab dialog box and Printer Setup.
We also demonstrated Print Preview.
If you share your worksheet with others, or your worksheet is large and complex, a text note may help to clarify any difficulty. Let's add a text note to one of the cells in our workbook.
With the Eastern Sales worksheet active, let's place the active cell on B8. Now we'll select Insert from the menu bar, then the Note command. The active cell reference is displayed in the cell line. If there are any other notes on this worksheet, their cell reference would be displayed in the Notes in Sheet list. With the insertion point in the Text Note section, we'll type, "The 1990 figures include the branch office in Maine." We'll press Enter to start another paragraph. Then we'll type, "It was closed 3/25/91, period." See Sam Mindel for details. We'll press the Add button and the note is added to the list on the left-hand side of the box. The cell note box is still open, and we can continue to add, delete, or edit notes. Let's add another note. We'll move the cell note box to below the numbers. Then we'll place the insertion point in the cell line, press backspace to clear, and type C8. We'll press Tab twice, then Enter. Now let's type, "This year should be audited again, period. C. Acres." Again, we'll choose Add, then let's select Close to return to the worksheet. A red box is now located in the upper right-hand corner of each cell. If it were a sound note, an asterisk would be displayed. You can use the cell note box to read each note, but let's use a shortcut. We'll place the active cell on C8, then press and hold the Shift key, and press F2. Our note is shown in the cell note box. Let's press Escape to remove the box. As long as you know the directory a file is in, you can use the keyword to retrieve it. Let's close both of our files, then use the keyword we earlier entered into the summary info box to find it. Let's close both workbooks and save the changes. Then we'll select the Open button and choose the Find File button. At the Find File dialog box, let's choose the Search button. Then we'll choose the Advanced Search button. Let's select the Location tab. With C:\\Excel\Learn displayed in the Search In box, we'll choose the Summary tab, type Mercer in the Keywords line, select OK twice, and we're returned to the Find File box with Samuel-Wan displayed. The summary information we entered earlier is displayed. We can see the workbook's contents by selecting Preview from the View line.
If your workbook is already open, you can display the summary information by choosing File, then the Summary Info command.
Let's open the file by selecting the Open button, and the Samuel-Wan workbook is shown. We'll quit Excel by selecting File, then the Exit command, and answer Yes to the prompt.
Let's review what we've covered in this chapter. We created 2 text notes in our worksheet, then viewed one of them.
Finally, we found a workbook by using File Find, and also we found a keyword we had earlier entered in the Summary Information dialog box.
That concludes this video tutorial, Learning Excel 5.0 Introduction.
If you're feeling overwhelmed by the amount of information we've covered, don't. With video training, you can rewind and review sections again until they are clear.
We at VA Graphics would like to thank you for choosing our company for your computer training needs.
Remember, if you plan to learn Excel or any other computer software, there is no better way than through video training with VA Graphics.